Right on time. Phone rings, we go live. It's just how it goes. They can wait though. We got bigger fish to fry. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope we are alive. If we are alive, please put it in the chat. If we are alive, please put it in the chat. So we got first place Gene Queen in the chat, second place Angie in the chat, third place Scotty in the chat. So we are alive. First, second, third. We are there. We are there. We are there. I hope everybody is doing well. We are coming live from an undisclosed location. But the great thing about this channel is all I need is a blank wall and we're right at home anywhere in the world. So I hope you guys are doing all right. If you guys have questions, I have answers. Please put all your question marks, put 3 question marks in front of your questions. That way I can knock them all out in the chat and make sure we answer every single question that does come. Hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to do it right now. 1 thumbs up equals 1 sale. The thumbs up button is right here. We have a record to beat. It's been a long time since we beat the record. The record is 850 thumbs up. So let's get a thumbs up. Joey from Minnesota, how you doing? How's everybody doing over there? So let's get some questions in the chats. So we got a record to beat, 850 likes. Can we do it? It's right under here. Hit the like. Let's get some engagement. YouTube will push the video out, and then maybe we can help as many people as possible. So I hope everybody is doing very well. So the title of today's video, resellers are failing because of this. I had an enlightening moment yesterday. I talked to a lot of resellers, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of resellers. I talked to them on Instagram. I talked to them in real life. I talked to them in the comments. I talked to you guys everywhere. I have finally actually figured it out. I have figured out why some people make money and some people do not. And it hit me, struck me like a ton of bricks yesterday. There are more scientists who moonlight or cosplay as resellers than there are actual resellers. Every single time when people get stuck, when people go sideways, they always are scientists. They form this hypothesis in their head that they have to use eBay to prove if they're right or wrong. So they'll come up and they'll say, hey, I have this idea or this thought or this hypothesis about what if I do this to my store? Will it get more sales? What if I do this to my X? Will it get more Y? And it's like the amount of resellers that are scientists instead of reselling is absolutely mind-boggling. And the people that are running a different experiment every single time you talk to them, those are the people that are not doing as well as they could be doing. So how much money are we costing ourselves? Because we're constantly running a new experiment every single week. We all know resellers. When we run a new experiment every single week, and every week we have a new experiment, we're losing money. We are reselling scientists. We may as well be wearing a white lab coat when we're doing our listings or taking our photos. But if reselling at the very, very basic fundamentals, basics of reselling is the most basic of any kind of business in the entire world, because all we have to do is buy good stuff that people want for cheaper than we sell it for. That's it. That's it. Buy good stuff cheaper than what we sell it for. Every other experiment after that is finished. It's over. It's done. It's a wrap. There's no more experiments to do after that. You buy good stuff, you sell it for cheaper, or you sell it for more than what you bought it for. That's it. All these things about I can pull certain strings, or if I have this kind of input, what will the output be? And that doesn't work, because we're constantly on the search of the next experiment or the next bright idea or the next thing that's going to push us to the next thing that'll really be the next thing. And when we're constantly on the search for the next thing, we're constantly just on the search for the next thing instead of just being on the search of getting the bag. Like, can we just be on the search of like just making money? Can we be on the search of just making money? Like, just get the money, get the bag. We don't have to be scientists. Like, there's no experiment left to run out there. Like, if you have a bright idea, it's already been done. This is the brightest idea out there. Find really good stuff, cheaper than what you sell it for, and do that every single day of your life. That's it. That's it. All the experiments are over. Hang up your lab coat and retire that thing. Put it up into the rafters, retire it. We cannot be scientists because all of this stuff distracts and takes away from what our ultimate goal is, and that's making money. We can't make money constantly running an experiment or constantly looking for the next best thing. It doesn't work like that. So I beg and plead with you guys, take it back to the basics. Buy really good stuff that people want for a price that will allow you to make a profit, and just do that and only do that and never do anything else after that. There's no other experiment. And people are saying in the chat, like people run these experiments to try to get to a shortcut to like this ultimate promised land of success. But like the shortest road for the ultimate promised land of success is just making money. Just make your money, leave the experiments to the scientists, and just focus on being a reseller. There's two professions that overwhelmingly are resellers. One of them apparently is scientists. The other one is, if you walk into a room of 48 resellers and you tell 48 resellers you stubbed your toe, you will get 48 diagnoses. There's a lot of doctors who are resellers as well, so you have to be careful of that part. But for the scientists, that's who we're talking to today. We're talking to the scientists. We got to leave it alone, guys. The scientists, we got to leave it alone. We got to get out of there. So if you guys have questions, please type them in the chat. If you guys have any kind of experiments that you would like my thoughts on, please type those in the chat. Put some question marks on and let me know what your hypothesis is. And I would love to see if your hypothesis can be proven or not proven right here, right now. Juanita, how you doing? So Joe on the run, buy low, sell high. Classic advice. That's all we have to do, guys. That's it. All that science stuff, you're breaking out your beakers and you got your periodic table of fabric types. We don't need it. Buy low, sell high. That's it. The picky picker says the need to constantly experiment is a result of always prioritizing the algorithm over buying good items, selling at a good price, providing good service. That's it. Like the amount of ways, if we put as much effort into tricking the algorithm as we do to just getting the best stuff that we possibly can, we would be leaps and bounds ahead of wherever we are today. Instead of putting a full-time effort into gaming the system or tricking the algorithm or looking for a shortcut, put a full-time effort into getting the best items that you possibly can. And that's it. Game over. We can end the stream right now, and you'll never have to look at me again. Never. You would never have to look at me again if we just retire the lab coats, buy low, sell high. That's it. Thrifty Spartan says, I feel you. Sometimes these small mistakes add up and cost a lot over time. And that's what we're talking about here, because like there's a lot of people who sell on eBay and they've been selling on eBay for 10 years, but they have 10 different businesses that they've experimented with for 10 years. So they have 1 year experience just 10 times. And then after they have run this 1 year experience and they hear about a grass being greener on the other side, we abandon what we have found that is working. And then we start tomorrow as day one, first day on the job, 366th day. Now we're a trainee because we've heard that the grass is greener on the other side, or this one simple hack, or this one simple trick. The only hacks and tricks that work in reselling in any business in the entire world is getting better and doing more. There is no other hack in reselling or in any other business that works other than getting better and doing more. That's it. If there's one simple trick that these people hate, if there's one hack, it's not there, guys. It's finding better stuff and doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Candy says, would driving further to find higher average sale price items be better than selling items with a lower average sale price? So this is a good question, because average sale price means absolutely nothing. You could have an average sale price of $100, but if your cost of goods is $99, you still make no money. So average sale price means nothing, means absolutely nothing. What we're looking for is profit. We're looking for money in the bank. Money in the bank. That's what we're looking for. So can you win with a higher average sale price? You absolutely can. When you strive for a higher average sale price, something has to give in this business all the time. You're going to have to choose what you want the hardest part of this business to be for you. And if you have a higher average sale price, odds are those items aren't raining down from the sky. Those items you have to go out and find, like you're saying, drive further, do this and do that. But if the margin is there and the profit is there and the average sale price is higher, that's fine. If the items are more profitable. But in order to find more profitable items, higher profitable items, we're going to have to spend more time sourcing. That works. Or you can spend less time sourcing, not like no time sourcing, but less time sourcing with a lower profit margin. But what we're going to choose as the hardest part of our business is the photos, the listing, the processing, the shipping, getting enough listings up to sustain the amount of money that we want to make. So we could do high profit, lower volume, or we could do lower profit, higher volume. What we cannot do is low volume, low profit. That doesn't work. Small profit and a lot of it, that doesn't work. You sell 3 items today, you make $3 each, you go home with $9 profit. That doesn't work. You sell 3 items today and you make $100 each on them and you made $300 profit. That works. You sell 30 items today and you made $10 profit and you made $300. That works. So these business models work. We just have to figure out a way to make them work. But average sale price means nothing. Average sale price is pretty. It's great. It's attractive on social media, but average sale price means nothing. We need to look for our profit and we always need to follow the money. Angela says, am I talking to you? I'm talking to a lot of scientists. If you are a scientist, then this one is for you. I'm talking to you right now. If you constantly are running experiments, constantly trying to find the next best, latest, greatest way to do it, it's already been found. Find really good items, get them for a good price, put up a really good listing, and sell them for more than you paid. And do that as many times as you possibly can until your face falls off and the bank account will skyrocket. But if you're constantly starting and stopping, going, changing, hypothesis, theorizing, doing all of this kind of stuff, doesn't work. We've already found out how to do it. Find great stuff, sell it for more than you bought it for, and do that forever. Everything else doesn't work, you can throw it in the garbage can. And if you are getting appeals of this new great thing, every single week we got a new great thing, that don't work, because like last week was the great thing. So like, how the hell is this week even greater? Like, it should be the greatest, A-tis, like it never ends. Like every week we got the answer, but the answer is right here. Find really good items, sell them for more than you bought them for, and just do that forever. Like there is nothing greater than that. That's it. What is the best way to ship a hat? In a box. And if you guys have any questions, please put a couple question marks before open question, Q&A, anything you guys want to know. I'll answer a million questions if you guys have questions. The best way to ship a hat is in a box. A hat like this that has a higher dome, more of a rigid shape, probably going to want to use a 7x7x7 or an 8x8x8. That'll work just fine. How would you go about creating an inventory system when you're first starting out? Does eBay offer a place to create, input a SKU number without purchasing a subscription? So on the listing format on the computer, not on the phone, on the computer, they do have a line that says custom SKU. It's right underneath the title. So you can write a custom SKU, or you can go to your eBay active page and they have kind of like an Excel spreadsheet where you can edit the column and you can type in your SKU there. But having a SKU can be helpful, especially if you, so what I would do if I was pressed on space as well, I would do the box method that you see a lot. We talk about that a lot. Put everything in a bag, put everything in a box, put a SKU on the bag, take a photograph of the SKU. That way, if you forget to update the SKU manually by typing it, at least you have that next level of the photograph of the SKU. And then I would put everything away sequentially in order by date listed. So you have a couple fallbacks, a couple things that will help you if you fail. One of them is if you mistype it, you have a photograph. If you don't do any of those, at least it's going to be filed and you can find it by date. Any tips on how to tackle GSPR? that is happening on the 13th of December. I'm in Europe, and if we don't fill out the details on an item, it will be hidden to sell in Europe, and I'm getting worried. The same thing is going to happen in the United States of America. eBay has updated the page to give a couple companies that they are working with that can help do it, and you'll have to visit them yourself. But I think eBay will try to find a way to figure this out for us, because they're potentially going to lose billions of dollars in sales. So they're going to have to find a way to get this figured out. So the alternative is right now is to manually type it all in every single time, because even when you sell similar, it doesn't carry over. But I think eBay will figure out some kind of solution, software based or something like that, where they will do a lot of the legwork for us. So we're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully they can get something figured out, but if they don't, then either we're going to have to manually type it in, or we will lose out on those particular sales. So someone is asking about the new policy, GSPR, which eBay announced in the last seller update, where in the European Union, they have new laws where you have to have a beneficial owner. It's about general product safety regulation, and you have to have a designated person in the country that you can contact with to have any kind of questions. Here is the policy. And if you do not fill it out, if you do not have a designated person, a responsible person, that's the link right there. If you do not have a responsible person, eBay will prevent you, and Europe will prevent you from selling that item to countries in Europe. That's going to go into effect on December 13th. That was announced on the last seller update. So we have to stay in tune with those. But there's all kinds of different things about, can eBay help find a responsible person? They've partnered with a couple places, like I've said, and it's here on this page. They've partnered with WebInterpret, CertRep, BOLOs, and EUCER-Rep, and hopefully those people can help automate it. But there's a whole bunch of Q&As and FAQs on there about what if a manufacturer of my product no longer exists or I've gone out of business. Like it's a real thing. So hopefully they can get it figured out, and it's a little less burdensome on us to figure out who the responsible person is for this particular piece of clothing or this company that went out of business 45 years ago. It's going to be a little bit hectic, so hopefully they get it figured out. If you could go back and give your 16-year-old self advice, what would you say? I was doing a lot of knuckleheads and stuff at 16 years old. So luckily for me, I never got hemmed up or, reaped any of the consequences for the things that I was doing. So, I would probably just beg and plead with myself and say, hey, you're going to make it. You're going to be all right. But you gotta stop doing the things that you're doing. And you got to get off the streets, and you really got to get your head on straight and get things figured out, because the direction that you're going, it ain't it. And there was a few series of events in my life, probably around 21 or so, where it was crystal clear that I had to get off the streets and then straighten out my life and do better, not only for me, but the people around me. So, I would probably just tell myself, hey, straighten up, and you can't be rolling like this. What the heck is PCI compliance? How do I pay somebody to be compliant? I had to ask you because you are frugal like I am. So all of that kind of stuff, I mean, it's crystal clear what it is. I can't explain it any better than they can. So that is for it's for the payment card industry, and it's all kinds of stuff. Whatever they say it is, that's what it is. You have to be compliant. They protect cardholder data and all this kind of stuff. Whatever they say it is, ain't nothing that I can say that's going to circumvent or explain it better than them. What it is what it is. So hopefully, that's just another hurdle. And as business owners, as eBay sellers, we're just going to continuously, like with the previous thing, with the general product safety regulations, like there's just going to be more and more and more and more regulations from certain countries, certain laws enacted, and that's just the way it's going to be. And we have to take on more burden, more responsibility. But every single time that there is something that is presented to us, and we can overcome that, and we can persevere, and we can continue to build our business, a lot of people ending up, they can't do it, and they end up falling off. So this is another one of those things that we wear the hat for our business and, get better with it. If you schedule listings for every day of the week, once a week, in eBay's eyes, are you still active in listing every day, or does eBay count it as listing only one time per week? So this question is speculation on the answer. I personally believe if you do not get the email that says, congratulations, your item has been listed, I don't believe that eBay recognizes that as a listing that was done today, because when you list an item as scheduled, when it goes live, you don't get that email that says, congratulations, your item has been listed. It just gets listed. So when the listing is scheduled, it is on eBay, but it's like in the back end of eBay. So like it's live, but hidden. And then when you do launch it, like you seem to not get the benefits or the bump for making it live the same way as if you manually listed it. So that's speculation. And when I come on here, I like to speak in fact. And when I am speculating, I will tell you I'm speculating. Or when I do have an opinion, I will tell you I have an opinion. I can say for myself, I did the scheduled listing route for a little while, maybe about a year and a half ago, when eBay was having trouble with drafts deleting from the draft bank. I moved them to scheduled. And as someone who was the most consistent lister on the face of the earth, I listed 250 items every single day, the same type of items for the same prices with the same listing, the same. I did see diminishing returns as I was using scheduled. And it was very, very crystal clear that the returns were diminishing. And when I switched back to manually listing them, manually launching them from my drafts, the sales bounce back immediately. So that's anecdotal, just based on a very small sample size, a very small window. And again, I didn't have to put on my lab coat or run an experiment for that. I saw what was happening and I went back to the bag and started chasing the money again. I just said, okay, the money is dwindling. Let me just go chase the money again and let me go back to what was working. I don't need to put on my lab coat or get my pocket protector or talk to my good friend Beaker. I didn't have to do any of that. I just say, hey, I got to get back to the money, and that ain't working. Let me get back to the money. So in my personal opinion, as speculation on a very short sample size, I did see diminishing returns with having scheduled listings go live automated versus pressing the blue button manually. That's me personally. How do I search by date listed? I have had a very hard time figuring this out. Also, is there a way on mobile that I can search for my first listings? It lets me go to the most recent when I scroll. So you can go to this screen, and even if you are on mobile, you can go all the way down to the bottom of the page and you can press classic mode or desktop version, and that will show you eBay on the desktop. And if you go to this page, one of the columns on that page is start date. If you click that column, it will sort by ascending or descending, kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. And that will show you your very, very oldest listings. Or you can click on the listing, and then in the top right-hand corner, it's going to have a little bit of information. And in the top right-hand corner of your listing, it will have listing info. It'll have views. It'll have the duration, which is good till canceled, or if you're running an auction, it'll have the duration. And then it will also have start time right there as well. So we have our photograph right here. On this side, it'll say revise listing, sell similar, change offer settings, create shipping discounts. On this side, it will tell you the actual start date of that particular listing, or you can go to your active page, which is ebay.com/sh/lst/active, and you can sort that by ascending or descending, and that will bring up your listings from newest or from oldest to newest, however you wish to do it. Thank you for the question. Dan Azard said they're experimenting with office setup, trying to streamline the office so my inventory is as close as possible to my shipping listing station. Very good. For me personally, I've had the best success with setting up the office where the sorting is next to the door. After the sorting is the photograph. After the photograph is the put away. After the put away is the shipping. After the shipping is going back out the door, kind of in that circular motion. That's worked very well for me personally. The Picky Picker says they got the first sale on Depop yesterday and first sale on Poshmark today. Congratulations. Put maybe some birthday cakes in the chat for you. Congratulations. Or some celebration emojis. Congratulations. Hopefully it's the first of many. I'm struggling with sourcing, not finding enough items. I'm going to the flea market on weekends and one thrift a week. Am I not giving myself enough opportunities? It is very well possible. I mean, sourcing is a full contact sport, and the amounts of opportunities you give yourself, the more luckier you start to get, and the more great items you start to find. So you really have to touch a lot of items in order to find the really good ones. And if you're only giving yourself one thrift store a week, I would challenge you to hit the thrift every single day of the week and watch what kind of items you start to find. So I am a big believer on giving yourself the most amount of knowledge and the most amount of opportunities. So make sure that you are studying, you are getting better, you're searching comps, you're doing product research on Terapeak, you're looking at historical data that eBay can provide. You're also going out into the field, looking at stuff, seeing where things are made, seeing what kind of materials do well, see what kind of countries or regions of manufacturing also do well. Put everything that you're studying into practice. And that's two of the best ways to learn. But we need the most amount of knowledge, and then we need the most amount of opportunities. So we have all the knowledge and don't give ourselves opportunities, we're not going to find anything. If we have all the opportunities but no knowledge, again, we're not going to find anything. So we got to study. That takes effort, that takes initiative, that takes a little bit extra. And that comes in addition after all of our work is done. So we have to study every single day, set aside X amount of time, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15, whatever you could do. If you're waiting in line, or if you're at the doctor's office and they say, hey, we'll catch you in 20 minutes, study. We got to study. And then we also have to implement and we have to execute on what we're doing. So if you're only going one time to the thrift, I would go to as many thrifts as you possibly can, touch as many items as you possibly can, and those better items will start lining up for you. Got Andrea in the chat. How you doing? What would you do if there was multiple sellers in a thrift store? Skip it and go to the next one, or still go through everything knowing that they are going to the other Goodwills too? I think with me personally, with the amount of knowledge that I have, I know that I can still beat them. And I know that I'm going to know more than them and they're going to pass on stuff. And I know I'm very, very quick. So I would run through that store like a madman. I would check out and I would be over at the other store when they walked in, or I would be at the store right after they walked in, and I'm going to beat them there as well. So if maybe the knowledge isn't on the up and up, or maybe the speed isn't on the up and up, and maybe there's 15 people here running the racks, go ahead, beat them to the next door. Maybe that's a good idea. But if you're confident you have the right speed and you're confident you have the right knowledge, you can go right behind them, pick up everything that they miss, and then catch them at the next store as well. Alex says too many scientists dropping like flies. Yeah, that needs to be studied. If reseller scientists want to study something, see how many reseller scientists have gone bankrupt. We got to stop with the experiments. We got to stop with the hypothesis. We got to stop with the new business model every single week. We got to stop with the new bright idea every single week. We got to stop with the grass is greener every week. We got to stop with this next best thing, or this hack is going to do it for us, or someone's coming to save us. We got to stop. It's over. Just buy really good stuff, learn how to find really good stuff, learn how to make the connections to find the really good stuff. Give yourself the most amount of knowledge, the most amount of opportunities, find really good stuff for the best price that you can, and sell it for more than you paid for it. Be consistent, be disciplined with your metrics. That's it. There's no other hacks ever. The only hack that works is work an extra hour. That's it. How do you feel about people using keywords such as vintage like for non-vintage items? I don't know. It probably doesn't push the needle anyways, because the people that are looking for vintage don't want vintage like, and the people that are looking for vintage like aren't going to search vintage like. So I don't think it's going to push the needle. How did you stay on track with your eBay business when you saw other new shiny businesses being an entrepreneur? Because I'm just getting to the money. Like, I am not impressed by shiny item syndrome. I am impressed by filling up my bank account with as much money as I possibly can And when you put $5 into eBay and you sell an item for 50 bucks, that impresses me. When you put $5 into eBay and selling an item for $20, that impresses me. When you put $1 into eBay and you sell that item for $100, that impresses me. There is nothing more impressive as an entrepreneur or as a business than what reselling allows us to do. I'm going to tell you right now, if Warren Buffett knew that you could put $5 into eBay and you can get $25 at the end of the 90-day cycle, he would take all of his money out of the stock market. He would sell all of his equity in Coca-Cola. He would take everything out of Berkshire Hathaway, and he would be buying items for $5 and selling them for 20 and getting a 500% return on his money in 14 days. They just don't know. Like, this is the ultimate glitch in the matrix. We're not getting 2% year over year. Like, we're getting 200,000% on our money, but we'd rather run a bunch of experiments. I don't understand. Mike says scientists equal infatuated with finding a shortcut to success instead of following a proven method. Yeah, and the proven method is not mine. The proven method is get really good at what you're supposed to get good at, find the best items that you can for the best price, and then sell them for more than you bought them for. That's it. Sonny says they're here for the live. I appreciate you. Hit the thumbs up, because if you hit the thumbs up right here, that equals 1 sale. So if you hit the thumbs up, you will get a sale. We do have a record to beat. The record for the most amount of thumbs up, and there's going to be like 3,000 people that come in and out during this live. The record for thumbs up is 850 thumbs up. If we can beat 850 thumbs up, I might just flip out. And I've already flipped out once this week. So like, I might have 2 flip outs this week. So like, we haven't beat this record in like 2 or 3 months. And this is a community record. This is not a me record. This is a community record. If we can beat 850 likes, I might just flip out. How do you store your hats so they're not squished? Also, have you tried Bleecker Street Pizza yet? So we store the hats on shelves chronologically by date. So they're all stored kind of just like nested into each other. They're not in a bin or anything. They're just on a shelf by date. So like every line of the shelf has a date, and they're stored on that. And for the Bleecker Street Pizza, every time we passed it, the line was bananas. Like they had what was the one that what was the bagel company that always had a huge line? Oh, Pop-Up Bagel? There was some kind of bagel company in New York City. Every single time that you walked past it, the line had 75 people in it. So every single time we went to Prince Street for Prince Street Pizza, the line was popping. How can I get an employee to list and do pictures faster? So it's either going to be one or two things. Either you need a new employee, or you need to really, really take an honest evaluation of your process and see if your process is capable of being done faster. And if it is, then the employee should be capable of doing it. And if they are not, then you might have to get another one. And that's one of the responsibilities of hiring someone, is you have the responsibility of firing them if they're not the right person. So you need to take an honest approach. Is my process going to give me the desired output? If it is not, then it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Michael Jordan, and if you have a crappy process, you're going to get crappy results. You also have to look into the amount of switching that they have to do. Are you photographing sombrero, blazer, shoes, phone, umbrella, helicopter, or are you photographing kind of like items? Are you photographing clothes? If so, then you can speed stuff up. So really take a look at the process. Like if you could do, 25 in 1 hour and your employee could do like 5 in 1 hour, it's probably an employee issue. If you could do 25 in 1 hour and your employee can do 25 in an hour and you want them to do 50 in an hour, then it's probably a process thing. How many square feet did you have for 10,000 items on your rack? So when I had 10,000 items, I was in bin life. I think around 20,000 items, I went to racks. And I think this was a long time ago, and I never thought in a million years I would be sitting here on YouTube recalling like what I did reselling wise like 10 years ago. I think somewhere around 20,000 items I switched to the racks. And I think we had 20,000 items in a two-car garage. Um, and then I ended up getting 1,200 square feet for a storage. And then I ended up getting 3,500 square feet, 7,000 square feet, then 10,000 square feet. So 10,000 square feet, I had 50,000 items, and it was about 75% full. So it probably could have held somewhere around 75,000 items. And a two-car garage, I believe, is in the neighborhood around 800 square feet. So I don't know. It was a long time ago. I could be off by that. Maybe it was 1,200 square feet that had the 20,000 items. I'm not sure. That was a mighty long time ago, but it's easy to figure it out. You just go to Goodwill and you count and you see how many items fit into 1 foot, and then you figure out how many feet you're going to need to store X amount of items. That's what I did. So I went there and I counted like how many shirts fit in 1 foot, how many polos fit in 1 foot, how many sweaters fit in 1 foot, how many jackets fit in 1 foot. Um, and also, again, for the 10,000 square feet, not all of that was the racks. That was a shipping station. That was 3 photography booths. That was 2 rooms that also had shelves for pants and shorts. So probably warehouse space was probably around 7,000 square feet for that was capable of fitting about 75,000 items. Have you ever thought about launching your own mobile app for one-stop button shop for all your content? I have not, because I think YouTube has a mobile app, and I think they have a one button shop for all the content. So I don't know. YouTube does a great job for me, and I'm not a scientist or a computer engineer, so I just let those guys do it personally. Um, did you know that there's an American Cornhole League? I did, actually. I did. Did you know that when Arwen came over here from the UK, I buried him in cornhole? Did you guys know that? That didn't make it to the video though. I left that on the editing room floor. Kate said they just joined the group. I've had some success with eBay this year, but I'm wanting to go part-time at work and switch to eBay for the other half. What is an appropriate financial point to switch? I would have a good amount of savings, a nice safety net, a nice nest egg. I would get my part-time gig of eBay to meet or exceed the take home or taxable income that my 9 to 5 is giving me. So let's say I want to replace, let's just for round numbers, let's say I make $1,000 a week, round numbers, at the 9 to 5, and I want to replace $500 worth. My side hustle eBay would have to meet or exceed that $500 for a prolonged, sustainable time, not once, and then I just say, hey, I'm out of here. It would have to be predictable, never miss. I'm going to make $500 a week profit doing this. And that's when I would make the switch, because I would be banking all of that money up until I was making a predictable $500 a week. And I would have that as my nest egg, my safety net. And once I can make a predictable $500 a week, then I would be able to step back and kind of do both to still get the $1,000, hopefully grow my eBay business. Now I'm getting $600, $700, $800 a week. Maybe it can replace my full-time gig, but I would have a very, very healthy savings. It would be very, very predictable. And I would want to experience all of the seasonality that eBay has to offer, because like coming up here in the next couple of weeks, like people are going to start making more sales. They're going to start handing in their resignations. And a lot of them are going to wish that they went the 2 week notice, because they're probably going to want to go back to their job that they just blew out of because they were Mr. Moneybags, because there was just a couple extra sales on eBay that won't be there in January, February, March, April. Amy says the most insightful, inspirational, in-your-face teaching videos. Look, we just gotta keep it real. That's it. Where are we? The chat jumps. We need more questions. If you got the questions, we got the answers. As you're a hat expert, when you get a less than perfect but still nice hat, do you attempt to describe any defect? or do you simply say pre-owned see photos? I always like to describe it. I don't like to just say see photos. I don't roll like that. If it does have an issue, I would say, hey, has some wear on the exterior or has a hole here. Or I would always describe it. I would personally never say see photos. Have you ever went to a thrift store and never found anything? I don't know, maybe, probably, especially in the beginning. But now that I have like a very extensive product knowledge of the items that I'm looking for, like it's very, very difficult to miss these days. But like if it's a junk store, like I have no problem walking out of a store with nothing if they only have junk. Like, yeah, you can't pay me to take garbage. Um, and not every reseller is an everything seller. Some have niches and vice versa. So just because the store has other resellers doesn't mean they're looking for what you're looking for. That's a good point, and that is in regards to a previous question about a bunch of resellers being in a store, and people have different metrics. Like there might be a reseller, he might be in there looking for a bajillion dollars profit per item, and he leaves you all the $20 profit. So like people look for different stuff, people skip different stuff. I skip good stuff all the time that doesn't sell for me, and that's just the way it goes. Is there a good tool for looking up additional keywords when you are stuck on what else to add? So there are a lot of resources for this, and I think that when we're stuck on keywords, we need to ask ourselves, who is the customer and what kind of utility are they going to use this item for? So yesterday in the group, we were talking about a brand, Billionaire Boys Club. Billionaire Boys Club was founded by Pharrell Williams, who is half of the Neptunes. The other half of the Neptunes is Chad Hugo. They're actually going through a little bit of tiff right now. But Pharrell Williams is now the creative director of Louis Vuitton. Pharrell Williams, and he made Billionaire Boys Club, and then he made the brand Ice Cream. These are brands that are for people that enjoy hip hop, or for people that enjoy streetwear, or for people that like skateboarding. So like, what is the utility, or who is the customer for this item? So if you have an item that is Billionaire Boys Club and you use hiking keywords are better for Patagonia, for North Face, for Marmart, for Columbia, those type of things, where a hip hop keyword would be better for maybe like Rockaware or Billionaire Boys Club or Mecca or 555 Soul, one of those. So who is the customer? What is the customer looking for? What are they searching for? What utility or what activity can they use it for? And then there's always nuance in style, nuance in pattern, nuance in print, nuance in certain genres of certain people. They are looking for certain things. So like for a vintage shirt, the bigger the print, they enjoy that. So maybe we want to draw attention to that. To someone that works in an office, maybe they're drawn to a certain cuff or collar type, and we can go on Google and we can type in all collar types. They're all there, and we have all of these resources in the group. We have files and files and files and files in the group of every single type of keyword or aesthetic or type that a customer is looking for. So all of those are equally important, but ask yourself, who is the customer and what would they type in to be able to find this item? And that's the real keyword that's going to push the needle. Bygone Thrifter, Sarah says they just jumped on to hit the like button, the thumbs up. We appreciate that. If you hit the thumbs up, you get a sale. It happens every single time. Do you write off laundry detergent on your taxes? If you are washing your clothes for business, then that laundry detergent, a portion of it could be tax deductible. Is laundry detergent that you wash your personal clothes tax deductible? The answer is no. But if it is for business purposes, perhaps it could be. So definitely talk to a CPA. If your laundry detergent is used for personal, then that is a no. If it is used for business, that's another story. Sunny says, seriously considering getting social media to join the group for a positive community. Do y'all have a YouTube call in the group still? If so, what does this call cover? Like, what is it about? So there are people that make like a burner account. So you could be Sunny Resells in the group and you can get a profile. We're totally fine with that. That's cool. So you could be Sunny Resells, have no picture. I don't care. We do have a YouTube social media call. It's hosted by Mel, back from Burnout. A lot of you guys know her. She's from Australia. And it's hosted by James Boldfines. He's from the UK. We have a lot of really good YouTube people in the group, a lot. And we also focus on like using social media to sell your items. There's a lot of people in the group that utilize TikTok to sell items, or TikTok to drive people to their store. So we talk about that a lot. Desiree is in there. She has a great channel. She has 100,000 followers in a different niche, but she uses TikTok a lot to drive traffic to her stores and things like this. So we do have the YouTube social media call. It is very, very, very helpful. And I'll be honest, like without them, I wouldn't have been able to jump on here and find the really quick success that I was able to, because I've been listening to the YouTube social media call for years. How do you feel about training VAs to do sourcing online? I mean, you may, and if it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. So your VA is only going to be as good as you are, as good as your direction, and as good as your instruction. There's usually a pretty good amount of turnover with VAs, so there's a lot of training that is like continuous with new people. If you can find a great one that stays with you for a long time, that's great. If you can't find a great one and you constantly are finding a new one every 2 weeks, that's not as great. Sarah says the scientific questions are the most thought-provoking, and you may flip out and just be out if they never come again, because that means we got it. Look, if you guys want to be scientists, go for it. I'll just make the money. What did Gary Vee say when you were in New York? Just talking. Told me I was the GOAT, and that's it. Thank you, Daniel, for catching the replay and hitting the like. I noticed in your New York thrift videos, not all the items you showed were the highest sell-throughs. What makes you pick those up that doesn't have the highest sell-through rate? So for sell-through is just a baseline. I know deep down in my soul that I can outperform what the sell-through is, because we have to understand a percentage of eBay sellers have no idea what the hell they're doing. Those are not my competition. A percentage of eBay sellers are civilians. Those are not my competition. A percentage of eBay sellers are professional eBay sellers and don't know what the hell they're doing. That's not my competition. A percentage of eBay sellers know what they're doing but are too lazy to do it correctly. Those people are not my competition. There are a percentage of eBay sellers that know what they're doing. I can beat those people. So there are brands that people say, oh, that brand doesn't sell for me, that I can sell thousands and thousands and thousands of times because I know how to sell the item. I know the proper keyword and I know how to attract that particular customer. And I'm putting forth the best listing with the most enticing price and the most enticing offer, whether it be my return policy, everything being correct, the proper pictures that they're looking for that are going to gain importance to it. Because if you go to Terapeak product research and you press the 2 arrows that go over, any kind of brand that you want to search, and I've showed it on here before, 80% of the sales go to 20% of the sellers. That means that 20% of the sales go to 80% of the sellers. So I don't want to be a part of the 80% of sellers that are fighting over 20% of the sales. I want to be 20% of the sellers that have 80% of sales. So there have been a lot of brands that a lot of people say, oh, those are saturated, that I have made millions and millions and millions of dollars on, because I'm not competing with the 80% of people that are fighting over the scraps. I'm part of the 20% of all sellers on eBay that are getting 80% of all the sales in this particular item, this particular category. So sell-through rate is something that all of us sitting here paying attention to and listening to. Sell-through should be something that we should all be able to exceed whatever it is telling us, because how many people list on eBay and have no idea what they're doing? Those are not our competition. How many people list on eBay and make junk listings? That's not our competition. Our competition are people that actually know what they're doing, actually are getting repeatable sales, not people that just get lucky like a broken clock twice a day. Those are not our competition. And there was once upon a time when I had my store 50,000 items, total world domination, where you know that price that comes up and says eBay recommended price? Every single price that they were recommending to all of you guys were my prices because I was getting so many of the sales. Whenever they told you guys 23.10, that was my price because that's 28.88 minus 20% off, whatever my coupon was. Whenever they told you 19.90, that was my price because that's 24.88 minus 20%. That's my coupon. Like all of these things, those were my prices because I was getting so many sales on items that other people would say, I can't sell those items. You can't sell the items because it wasn't being done correct. I've already sold a steel Lego set and a Worth baseball bat from the same garage sale for $475 plus shipping on eBay and $200 respectively. Nice job. You know what you got to do now? Cease all experiments and just keep selling good items. Dance said to hit the like button. Absolutely. Without fail, Utah Jazz the best. Oh, the chat jumped. Tyler says, thanks for what you do. Thank you for what all of you guys do. I assume you're a no debt kind of guy. Do you feel like no debt is super important? So I have never had credit card debt. I've never taken out like a business loan. I don't really subscribe to that kind of debt personally. So like if I can't buy it or I can't afford it, then I don't do it. Jeff, the Apex Flipper, just jumped on and hit the like button. That is a team player right there. Kylie hit the like button. That's what we're talking about. Do you think you'll be doing a sourcing video in New Orleans one day? I will one day. One day, my wife and I will get in the car and we will drive and we will not come home for as long as it takes to hit every single state and meet a whole bunch of really cool people. That might come in 2025. We just hit the road. We got to wait for the snow to melt because we're from Florida. I've never seen snow. We don't know how to drive in snow. Don't put me on a mountain in the snow and then I have to drive on a mountain in the snow. I'm not doing that. Wait for all the snow to melt. We'll leave in the springtime. We'll come back home when it starts snowing again. Who do you like to follow to keep up with current fashion trends? I think like Yahoo on the front page, like if you click the right articles, they start curating it to you. Instagram, if you engage with the right articles and the right stuff, they'll start showing stuff to you. YouTube is very good for that. We have posts in the group about that keep me on my toes and keep me on the up and up. So it's just about like creating your own algorithm to have them feed you what's coming, what's new, what's popular, and it's just about engaging with those kind of posts so that they show more of those to you. The Up and Down Show, Norman and Joy, how you doing? They say they're interested in the group. If you are, we have 30 live calls per week. Everything is recorded if you can't attend live. We have calls in every single niche. Right now, the media sellers are talking about selling media, CDs, records, Amazon, that type of thing. Tomorrow, we have an accounting call. We have a UK sellers call. We just started a UK Vinted call. That's on Mondays. Tomorrow, we also have the YouTube social media call. We have the antiques and collectibles call. Friday, we have a clothing call. We have a men's clothing call. We have a jeans call. We have a sports card call. We have a Poshmark call. And we have an Amazon call. So we have 30 live calls. They meet every single week. There's thousands of hours of previous calls recorded. And we're in there talking about business, how to do better inside of our niche, doing product research. Today, Ben did the shoe call. And Ben's shoe call, he does a great one where he's just constantly looking at brands, looking at new stuff. They do fantastic work in there. So, and then we have the Facebook group. I do the morning call every single day. We have everything, man. Let's say a friend of mine has been selling on eBay in 2024 more heavily than before and did not take the time to keep records. Advice for tax time, CPA or take it on the chin. But there is no such thing as like taking it on the chin, because that would mean that you have avoided taxes. So definitely talk to a professional and they could point you in the right direction. Were your listers able to sell similar off your active listings? Mine are having to start from scratch, maybe a setting I messed up. My listers did sell similar off of my active listings. Absolutely. Do you know what a complete... Thank you. Noel, how you doing in the chat? Good to see you. I currently sell on eBay, but don't have an official eBay store. Would I get a tax form to pay my taxes as a reseller from eBay, or do I need to do taxes up until I have a real eBay store? So whether you have an eBay store, it doesn't matter. If you meet the threshold, eBay is going to send you the 1099. So you can have No store and you meet the threshold, eBay sending you that tax document. You could have a store and do not meet the threshold, and eBay will not send you the tax document. So it is not store dependent, it is meet the threshold dependent. Very good. I already updated my hat listing. Do you wait to send offers to watchers after listing? Do you send offers only after a certain number of days or immediately? So I only send offers only when I want to sell items. Only. I only send offers only when I want to sell items. And do you guys know when I want to sell items? If you know the answer to that, then you know when I send offers. How many likes do we have? Someone says impressive watch to like ratio. We need 850 to beat the record. So Wu Name says that's how it is with Brooks Brothers, one of my best bread and butters, even though it generally has a low sell through. Yeah, that's right. And there's certain items inside of certain brands that have a fantastic sell through, and that's what we have to go for. Expanding on how can you get into the 20% of sellers? What do you do that puts you there and gives you the knowledge? Every single thing that we talk about here, and less being a scientist, as we talked about earlier. Every single thing that we talk about here is only to get people in the top 20%. There is no advice here that I give to get people into not being in the top 20%. Average reseller says, come to Seattle, no snow. There will be snow, just maybe not right now. Karen says they have a Carhartt hat listed. Photos are good and about 15 views, but no offers, $15.97. Don't know what to look for, but I need to do different to sell it. I think Carhartt sells, but this isn't. Carhartt jackets sell fantastic. Carhartt double knee pants sell fantastic. Carhartt coveralls, they sell pretty good. Carhartt hats, not as good. And only 15 people on the face of the earth have looked at it. Don't panic yet. If you've done your research and your research has showed you that $15.97 is a good price, have confidence. You don't need to do anything. If your research have showed you $15.95 is a good price, stay put. It might take 30 people. It might take 100 people. It might take 300 people to look at it. You're not the only Carhartt hat on the face of the earth on eBay. The time will come. Now, if you just pulled $15.97 out of the air, then you're right. You might need to reassess. But Carhartt hats, they don't sell as well as jackets and double knees and coveralls and workwear type stuff. They're a little bit on the slower side. But if you've done your research, have confidence. Don't fret over the views. Keep listing, keep trucking. How do you handle returns? How many on average should a good seller expect? I want as many returns as I could possibly get. And I was talking to Hanley yesterday. You guys know Hanley. She's a friend of the podcast. She also has a great podcast with Sam, who's another great seller. And that podcast name is Business and Banter. So check out that podcast. It's a lovely podcast. I've been on, and if you haven't seen that episode, check it out. And I enjoy talking to Hanley. I enjoy talking to Sam because they ask very challenging questions. So I really enjoy it. And I was talking to Hanley about this yesterday, about returns, because they eat at her. And I said, Hanley, I want all the returns. I want to have 10,000 returns open every single day. Because if you have 10,000 returns open every single day, do you know how many items you're selling? You're selling so many items, it's absolutely bonkers. Returns are going to happen, especially buyer's remorse returns. Buyer's remorse are wrong size, doesn't fit, found a better item, changed mind, no longer need. Those are fine. If you're stacking up item not as described returns, such as item not as described, broken, arrived damaged, missing parts or pieces, not as photoed, those we need to reassess. If it's one or two, don't worry, that doesn't sink your ship. But if it's just buyer's remorse returns, give me 10,000 of them. It's okay. No problem. Very good. Very good. Thank you for all the questions. Scotty says, Australian reseller here. Guys, remember, put some question marks in front because the chat is popping. The chat jumps up and down, and I don't want to lose you. I want to get every single question that I possibly can. So put a couple question marks so I don't miss it. I got my best find at the flea market on the weekend. Vintage Nike Instant Karma collab with John Lennon. Very good. Nice find. Perfectly blessed that there are so many great calls in the group that I sometimes find myself stopping what I am doing, absorbing all the great nuggets. But we still got to get our work done. Yard Yeti says this one goes out to the algorithm. MVP right there. Mandy says, I love the way you say I only send offers when I want to sell items. That's it. That's the only time I sell items. I never send an offer when I don't want to sell an item. Luckily, for the eBay offer gods, I always want to sell items. So I am always going to send offers. Very good, very good, very good. We've almost beat the chat. Once we beat the chat, it's a wrap, guys. Once we beat the chat, it is a wrap. Like they're saying, show and tell. Yeah, show and tell is great on the group as well. We do that every single Wednesday. I'm doing eBay part-time until my full-time job is done at 30 years in 2026. I'm struggling to find a niche other than vintage, but I'm enjoying the research and the learning. What helps finding your niche? So, some people find the niche, some people the niche finds you. We have to eliminate the things that become too difficult at scale. Once upon a time I sell a lot of electronics. That's where the tech part of my name comes from. But I just got tired of testing, ordering parts and pieces, never ending customer support and service. People don't know how to use the item that they just bought. They ship it back to you in a cereal box and it breaks. Like I got tired of doing that, where like a t-shirt doesn't need instructions. A t-shirt doesn't need never ending customer support and service. A t-shirt doesn't break in the mail. So I just said, you know what? I don't need to order a part or a piece. I could just sell a t-shirt. So let me just sell t-shirts. So, sometimes, the niche can choose you. If you have something you can exploit in your area or some kind of advantage, the niche can choose you. But oftentimes the niche kind of selects or walks its way out the door. After photographing items, you fold and bag each item and set it aside before photographing the next item. What's the most efficient process between photographing and putting in inventory? So that's for people who do the bag method with the boxing, and there's a lot of ways that people do it. I always had a hanging inventory system, so I always just put everything on a hanger, and we used to put it up there. But I like to list from the item, me personally. So I would lay the item flat, I would list it, and after I listed it, that's when I would put it in the bag. That's me personally. I like to list from the item. I don't like to list from photos. That's me personally. How long does it take to revive an eBay store after not listing for a few months? Not very long. And we have a lot of graphs inside of the group where people have, taken weeks or months off. They start listing. The sales start coming back pretty quickly, usually within about a week. So you got to get back on it. Get back on it and the sales will start coming. Do you have a certain percentage off that seems to work the best when sending offers? I do, because I know my numbers and I am comfortable with the desired profit that I want to make. So I would suggest for you to gain a real fundamental of your numbers, a real fundamental understanding of your numbers, and make sure that you are sending out offers where you are happy with that profit margin. A lot of people just send out offers and might be sending out offers that are putting them out of business. Maybe they're not turning a profit. Sending out, promoted listings that are returning no profit and they're going out of business slowly and they don't know it. So gain a really good fundamental understanding of your numbers. I have a great video on YouTube titled Techonomics, and it goes over all the numbers, how to find your numbers, how to figure out your numbers. Then and only then can you answer the question on what percent works best for you. Because for me, if I say 33% and 33% is going to bankrupt you, that would be irresponsible of me to say. So you need to learn your numbers and you need to find what percentage you are happy with that works with your margin and your business. Can you walk us through the process of searching for trending keywords or for searching trending items selling in different categories? You could look at the solds. I like to look at the solds. I like to look at what's selling recently. You can also do a little bit of keyword research if you go to promoted listings and you go to promoted listings advanced. This is the pay per click strategy. And when you bid on the keywords, it's going to show you the most popular keywords have the highest bids. And from there, you can see what people are bidding on, and that can give you an idea of what people are searching. Now, you don't have to go all the way through and create the promoted listings campaign. But if you do like a pretend promoted listings campaign, you don't go all the way through, it will tell you right there what keywords people are bidding the highest for. And the highest bidding keywords are usually the highest converting keywords. So that can help you as well. So the solds, and do a mock promoted listings advanced promotion. Not sure if I should smash my Rolo or resell it. I would probably smash it, but you should probably resell it and get the money. Should I allow offer on all of my items? Seems like I get low ball offers. I would rather have low ball offers than no offers. So getting low ball offers is a little bit subjective, and it is a lot of bit part of the game. So we need to assess, like, am I getting a quote unquote low ball offer because I've priced this item 10 times above market? And the offers that I am getting are actually market price and I'm the bozo? Or is this truly a low ball offer? And if it is, great. I need the interaction on my listing. Interaction on the listing is going to raise my listing. So I welcome the low ball offers. I'll play the game. We can go back and forth a little bit. And then, hopefully someone else will buy. This is part of the game. In your prime, how many sourcing opportunities were you hitting? Like, what was the amount of stores and flea markets? So at the peak of me thrifting, I went to 55 thrift stores a week. On Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, I went to the flea market. On Thursday, I went to the flea market and a thrift route. On Saturday and Sunday, I went to the flea market and either did a thrift route or went to the flea market and went to another flea market. On Sunday, I went to the flea market and another flea market. So I was going to 55 thrift stores a week and about 4 or 5 flea market opportunities per week. Any recommendations when you were still pretty far off from recovering from an above standard seller level? I had several late shipments earlier in the year and they don't drop off for a year. So there's a couple things that you could do. You can sell more items successfully to decrease that percentage. So if your percentage is 5% because you have sold 100 items and 5 are late, if you do a really good job on your next 100, now that percent will go to 2.5. If you do a really good job on your next 100, now that percent will decrease. So if you sell more items successfully versus not successfully, your percentage will decrease. Or if you can get to the point where you can sell 400 items in a 90-day period, you will start to be assessed on the 90-day period instead of the 12-month period. And those old defects from 6, 7, 8, 11, 4 months ago, those will fall off and you will be assessed on the 3-month rolling window if you can meet that threshold. So sell more items successfully versus not successfully, bring that percentage down, or get yourself to the 90-day evaluation and have those old ones fall off then. Giorgio says, my best advice as a lifelong Wisconsinite to learn to be a competent driver in the snow after a snowfall, go to an unplowed parking lot and whip it around. Well, I've never even seen snow, my friends. So we got to get over that one first. Yes, Noel. The Rolo out of there. All right, do we have any more questions? Or I beat the chat? What's up? I'll let it bounce one more time. And then that'll be it. And I will be 54 week in a row, beat the chat world champion. This guy. I'll give you a little bit of grace. We'll beat the chat a little bit. We'll let it jump one more time. It hasn't jumped for me yet. And we'll see if you guys have a couple more questions. Otherwise, it is adios, amigos, and we are out of here. So, do defects affect your ranking in search even if you are top rated? So defects can affect your seller level. You can be assessed more final value fees on that. So if you get a defect for out of stock, you can be, dropped from above standard to below standard. That will decrease your visibility. So every single time you get like a negative attribute to your business, you are gaining less confidence from eBay versus if you got like a positive attribute to your account, that then eBay will give you more confidence. So like, in my opinion, if I ran eBay and I have someone that's like constantly screwing up, I don't want to give my customers to this person versus this person is always doing a great job. I will give all of my business to the people that are doing a great job. Lemon Pie said, is my question appearing? I don't see it. You got to type it in. Ali says, I don't see your question either. Instead of saying you typed it, how about type it again, please? What's the best treadmill desk? The one that you're going to use and walk on. But why the Rolo hate? I'm just kidding. I really don't care. If you can drive in sugar sand, you can drive in snow. That's a good one because when I used to live in Loxahatchee, Florida, we had a lot of sugar sand, and boy, that was tough. We got stuck a couple times. When are you coming to Australia? Not sure. Maybe in 2026 or 2027. That's a little bit far off. We got to see America first. Using average costs for sourcing, what percentage or how often do you pay up without breaking the bank? It's going to be it's going to depend on your data set. Like if you are using average costs and your data set is small, if you pay up on an item, it's going to skew the data because the data set is small. If you have a very large data set and you pay off on an item, it's not even going to move the needle. So it depends on the data set. Do you do your own taxes or do you go to a tax accountant? I go to a professional. However, I am pretty proficient in taxes. I've done a lot of taxes. I've read a lot about them, and a couple years back, I caught the professionals. I caught a $24,000 mistake on their end. I would have had to pay $24,000 more because they clicked the wrong box. So just because you pay someone else to do it, you also sign that dotted line that says, never mind that this other person pays it, I am taking responsibility. So it is a good idea for us to be on the up and up of tax law, tax rules, tax regulations. But seek help if you do need help. I've had one of my items removed for not being legit, but it's real. What can I do? On the bottom of the email, it will have an email address to the verified rights owner. You can email them with some photographs, with some proof, with a statement, and see if they will retract the copyright infringement claim. If they will not, you can call eBay and you can tell them about it, and then maybe they can give you an alternative email to email. If no one ever writes you back, then you're stuck. But what I would do is I would not list that item again, because if you do list it again, you do get another policy violation. eBay will be a little bit more harsh with the penalty, all the way up to perhaps permanent suspension. So if you do get a vero, you got to stop. You got to stop listing those items. New follower, not sure if you have shared your eBay store. My eBay store now, don't copy it. You guys should have copied my eBay store when I had 50,000 items selling millions of dollars in world domination. For right now, my eBay store is just for fun. Don't copy my just for fun eBay store. Copy my 50,000 item world domination, #1 in every single category, millions of dollars. Copy that. Should I track actual costs or try to get an average cost for item source? I pay a wide range from 50 cents to $50 depending on the item. You could do it both ways. What you can't do is bounce back and forth. So figure out a system that works for you and do that part. Does inconsistent listing affect your sell-through rate? In my opinion, it does. And we've seen it time and time again in the group. When people are inconsistent with the listing, the traffic starts to plummet. If the traffic starts to plummet, then you're going to get less views. Less views is going to equal less sales. How many items did you have in your eBay store did you have before you felt real financial freedom in your life? I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I looked in my bank account one day and I had a bunch of money, and I had like an awakening and said like, oh, like this is for real. Like I need to actually like really pursue this and actually like go really hard. I couldn't tell you like the exact date or how many items that I had, but if you look in your bank account and you have money and it's increasing, then go for it. Will you ever travel and source internationally? I will. We just got to give it time. Late shipment rate is over 6%. What do I do? Ship out your items on time. Otherwise, you're going to lose your eBay accounts. What do you think customer behavior will be like from now to June 2025? What's June 2025? Huh? It's probably going to be the same thing what you're seeing right now. Like there's not going to be no hockey stick trajectory of money raining from the sky. It's going to be the same what you see right now. All right, anybody else? Hurry up. Last call for questions. People are saying, I missed their question, but then they don't type the question. What is this about? Or are they trolling? There was no question. So, all right. So people go, you didn't answer the question, but they don't have a question. Instead of saying you didn't answer the question, why don't we just type the question? It doesn't make any sense. All right. We'll let the chat jump one more time. One more time. Come on, come on. Give me some more. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're on location. All we need is just a blank wall to get the show started. We don't need anything fancy. So Lemon Pie says it's not letting them type the question. So, like, what do they have against you, Lemon Pie? What do they have against Lemon Pie? They won't let them type the question. All right, send it to me on Instagram. All right, Ali and Lemon Pie, for whatever reason, you guys are typing them multiple times and it's not letting you type it out. Write it to me on Instagram. I'll answer you on Instagram. What are we doing? Just write it to me on Instagram and then I'll answer it. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the questions. I hope this was enlightening. I hope this was helpful. As always, be great. Thank you. What is that? The guy said his question wasn't coming through?